A man is not born strong, he is forged. He is tested by adversity, hardened by struggle, and shaped by the weight of responsibility. Some break beneath it. Others endure. Few transcend. Look around. Weakness has become acceptable. Comfort has become the goal. Men have traded resilience for convenience, and discipline for distraction. But the world does not care for excuses. It respects only strength, of mind, of body, of will. The Stoics knew this well. Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. You are not here to drift through existence, hoping the world will be kind. You are here to master yourself, so that no man, no challenge, no hardship can break you. Master these 6 skills, and you will stand unshaken, a man of presence, wisdom, and unyielding resolve. Ignore them, and you will be at the mercy of the world. The choice is yours. Number 1, master the art of combat, not just for the body, but for the soul. Strength is not a privilege, it is a duty. A man who cannot fight is not merely defenseless, he is vulnerable in ways far beyond the physical. He is at the mercy of the strong, whether they come in the form of an aggressor on the street, a tyrant in the workplace, or the creeping weakness within himself. A man who lacks the ability to defend himself and those he loves is a man who has surrendered control, not just over his own safety, but over his own dignity. But fighting is not about brute force or reckless violence. It is about the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are capable. It is about the unshakable resolve that allows you to stand your ground when the moment demands it. The true warrior does not seek conflict, but neither does he run from it. He is not eager to prove himself in battle, but he is prepared for the day he must. Combat is a physical skill, but at its core, it is a test of the mind. It teaches discipline, patience, and control, the ability to remain calm when others panic, to think clearly under pressure, to endure discomfort without breaking. A man who knows how to fight walks differently. He carries himself with the quiet self-assurance of someone who fears little, not because he is reckless, but because he has prepared. He has met fear on the mat, in the ring, in the weight room, and he has learned to move through it, rather than be controlled by it. The world does not pity weakness. It does not pause for those who are unprepared. And so, you must prepare. Train your body, not for vanity, but for resilience. Strengthen your hands, not to harm, but to protect. Learn how to move, how to strike, how to stand firm when every instinct tells you to flee. Not because you want to fight, but because someday, you may have no choice. A man who is capable of violence but chooses peace is the most dangerous kind of man. He is not controlled by his emotions, nor by the threats of others. He is free. Not because the world is safe, but because he is ready for the moment when it isn't. Train, not for war, but for the weight of responsibility. Train, not to prove anything to others, but to prove to yourself that when the time comes, you will not hesitate. You will not falter. You will not kneel. Because when the world tests you, and it will, you will be ready. Number 2, become a master of conflict, the strength of stillness. A man's true power is not measured by his ability to dominate others, but by his ability to control himself. The weak lash out, mistaking anger for strength. The unprepared avoid conflict at all costs, mistaking passivity for wisdom. But the man who has mastered conflict does not seek it, nor does he fear it. He understands that true dominance lies not in aggression, but in the ability to dictate the terms of engagement. He is the one who decides when to act, when to speak, and when to let silence do the work for him. Most men misunderstand conflict. They believe it is won by force alone, that the loudest voice commands the most respect, that the one who strikes first always has the upper hand. But this is the mindset of the undisciplined, of the man ruled by his emotions rather than his reason. True mastery of conflict begins long before the first word is spoken or the first move is made. It is forged in restraint, in patience, in the quiet confidence of a man who knows he is not to be trifled with. A man who is truly dangerous does not advertise it. He does not need to. His presence alone is enough to shift the energy of a room. He does not flinch at threats, nor does he waste time posturing. He understands that conflict is not about proving oneself to others, it is about knowing, without a doubt, that he can act decisively when the moment demands it. That certainty makes him untouchable. The desperate man, the man who has something to prove, will always be at a disadvantage, because he fights for the approval of others. The man who has mastered conflict fights only when it is necessary, and only on his terms. To become this man, you must first master yourself. Learn to control your emotions so that no one else can use them against you. Learn the power of a well-timed pause, of a measured response. Learn when to walk away, not out of fear, but out of strategy. And when the moment comes where you must stand your ground, do so with the full weight of your conviction. Do not raise your voice. Do not justify yourself. Do not engage in battles that do not serve a purpose. Simply be unmovable, and let the weight of your presence speak for itself. Most men live their lives reacting to the world, swayed by every slight, every insult, every challenge. But the man who masters conflict is different. He moves with intention, speaks with precision, and acts only when he chooses. And when he does, it is with the force of someone who has already won long before the battle has begun. Number 3, cultivate an aura of presence, the silent authority of a man who knows himself. Presence is not something you announce, it is something you exude. It is not the result of loud words, flashy displays, or desperate attempts to be noticed. Those who demand attention rarely deserve it. True presence is something deeper, something unshakable. It is the quiet authority of a man who knows exactly who he is and does not seek external validation. Most men try to command respect by chasing it, by forcing their way into conversations, by posturing, by speaking too much and listening too little. But presence is not pursued. It is cultivated. It is built in the way you carry yourself, the way you look at the world, the way you choose to engage or disengage. It is the result of discipline, self-respect, and the unwavering certainty that you do not need to prove yourself to anyone. A man with true presence does not shrink in the face of challenge, but neither does he overcompensate. He is neither timid nor boastful. He walks into a room and immediately feels in control, not because he is demanding attention, but because his energy speaks before he does. People are drawn to him, not because he tries to impress them, but because they sense that he is anchored, a man who stands on solid ground while others waver. To cultivate this presence, you must first strip away all that is inauthentic. Drop the need to be liked. Let go of the urge to seek approval. Stop trying to manufacture confidence and instead build it from the inside out. Strengthen your mind through knowledge, sharpen your body through discipline, and fortify your spirit by embracing solitude. A man who is comfortable being alone, who does not fear silence, who does not need distraction to feel whole, this is the man who radiates an aura of power. Presence is about stillness. The ability to stand in a room, say nothing, and still be noticed. It is about being deliberate with your words, precise with your movements, and unwavering in your demeanor. It is about knowing that when you do speak, people will listen, not because you demand it, but because your silence has already told them that you are worth listening to. In a world where most men are desperate to be seen, be the man who does not need to be. Let your presence speak before your words ever do. The world respects the man who carries himself as if he needs nothing from it. Number 4, develop ruthless mental clarity, cut through the noise and see the world as it is. A man's greatest weapon is not his strength, his wealth, or his status, it is his mind. Yet, most men move through life without ever truly thinking for themselves. They accept opinions as facts, follow the herd without question, and let emotions cloud their judgment. They react rather than analyze. They absorb rather than discern. A man without clarity is a man easily manipulated, easily swayed, and easily broken. Mental clarity is not simply intelligence, it is the ability to see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. It is the discipline to strip away illusions, both external and internal. It is the strength to question even your most deeply held beliefs, to challenge assumptions, to refuse easy answers. Clarity demands effort. It demands that you resist the comfort of simple narratives, that you refuse to let fear or desire dictate your thinking. It demands that you stand in the face of uncertainty and not look away. The world is filled with noise, opinions masquerading as truth, emotions masquerading as reason, distractions designed to keep you blind. Every day, you are bombarded with information, most of it worthless, most of it designed to control you rather than inform you. The man who cannot filter this noise, who cannot distinguish what is real from what is manipulation, is a man who will never truly own his mind. To develop ruthless mental clarity, you must first reclaim your attention. Cut away the distractions that drown your thoughts. Stop flooding your mind with meaningless entertainment, with constant stimulation, with the endless opinions of others. Make space for real thinking. Read deeply, not widely. Write to clarify your thoughts. Learn to sit in silence without needing to fill it. A man who cannot be alone with his own mind is a man who does not yet know himself. You must also train yourself to question everything. Do not mistake knowledge for wisdom. Do not mistake agreement for understanding. Do not accept a truth just because it is easy, convenient, or socially acceptable. Seek out opposing perspectives. Debate yourself as fiercely as you would debate another. If you cannot argue against your own beliefs, then you do not truly understand them. If you have never changed your mind on something important, then you have never truly thought. Most men spend their lives being told what to think. A few, the rare few, decide to think for themselves. And those men shape the world while the rest follow blindly. Choose which man you will be. Number 5, master your wealth, own your time, own your life. Money is not the goal. It never was. The real pursuit is freedom, the ability to wake up each day and decide how you will spend your time, who you will answer to, and what kind of life you will lead. Yet, most men trade their hours for a paycheck, exchanging the best years of their lives for just enough to stay afloat. They live under the illusion that financial security means a steady job, a decent salary, and a retirement plan dictated by someone else. But real wealth is not measured in dollars, it is measured in control. A man who does not master his wealth is a man who will always be owned by something. If he lacks money, he is owned by debt. If he spends recklessly, he is owned by his desires. If he depends on a paycheck, he is owned by his employer. He may tell himself that he is free, but he is not. He is simply another worker, another consumer, another man whose choices are dictated by forces beyond his control. To master your wealth, you must first shift your mindset. Stop thinking of money as something you earn and spend, start thinking of it as something you control. Money should be a weapon in your hands, not a leash around your neck. The goal is not to accumulate possessions, but to accumulate options, the option to walk away from a job that no longer serves you, the option to take risks, the option to live life on your own terms. Discipline is the foundation of financial mastery. If you cannot control your impulses, your emotions, or your need for instant gratification, no amount of money will ever be enough. The man who spends mindlessly, who chases luxury for the sake of appearances, who inflates his lifestyle to match his income, he will always be one step away from ruin. Learn to detach from materialism. Let others chase status symbols while you chase independence. Wealth is not about working harder, it is about working smarter. Learn the art of multiplying your income. Develop skills that increase your value, build assets that generate wealth even when you sleep, and never rely on a single stream of income. Invest not just in stocks, real estate, or businesses, but in your own knowledge, because the more you understand money, the less power it has over you. The world wants you dependent. It wants you living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt, too afraid to take risks, too burdened to walk away. But you were not born to be owned. You were born to build, to lead, to carve out a life where your time belongs to you. Money is not the end goal. Freedom is. And a man who masters his wealth masters his future. Number 6, dominate stress, the fire that forges you. Most men fear stress. They see it as something to be avoided, something that wears them down, something that must be escaped. But the truth is, stress is neither good nor bad, it is simply a force, and like any force, it can either destroy you or forge you into something stronger. The difference lies in whether you control it, or it controls you. A man who has not learned to master stress is a man who will always be at the mercy of his circumstances. He will be reactive, constantly thrown off course by obstacles, overwhelmed by uncertainty, drowning in pressure. He will look at life as a series of burdens rather than as a battlefield where strength is earned. But the man who understands stress, who bends it to his will, who welcomes it rather than runs from it, that man becomes unshakable. Pressure is not something to escape, it is something to lean into. The weight on your shoulders is what makes you stronger. The discomfort of responsibility, of expectation, of challenge, this is what separates men who rise from men who fade away. Growth does not happen in the absence of stress. It happens because of it. A sword is not made by being left untouched, it is forged in fire, beaten into shape by relentless force. And so are you. To dominate stress, you must first shift your mindset. Stop wishing for an easier life. Stop looking for an escape. Instead, train yourself to thrive in discomfort. Seek out voluntary hardship. Push yourself beyond what is comfortable, beyond what is easy, beyond what you once believed you could endure. Wake up earlier than you want to. Take on challenges that intimidate you. Do the things you are tempted to procrastinate on. Learn to sit with discomfort rather than numb it with distractions. The man who chooses difficulty before it chooses him is the man who is ready when the real storm arrives. Your ability to handle stress is directly linked to your ability to control your mind. If you let emotions dictate your actions, if you panic when things don't go as planned, if you collapse under pressure, you will always be fragile. But if you train yourself to pause, assess, and act with clarity, you will be the man who stands firm while others break. You will not be the one looking for someone to save you, you will be the one others look to when things fall apart. Most men avoid stress, and in doing so, they avoid growth. But those who embrace it, those who learn to master themselves in its presence, become the kind of men who cannot be rattled. The world does not become easier. The weight does not get lighter. But you, if you choose, can become stronger. And that is what separates those who merely survive from those who dominate life itself. Every man reaches a point where he must decide who he will become. He can either take control, sharpen his mind, strengthen his body, and master his life, or he can drift, surrendering to comfort, waiting for the world to hand him something it never will. Strength is not given, it is earned through discipline, hardship, and relentless self-improvement. The modern world encourages weakness, offering distraction instead of purpose, comfort instead of resilience. But no one is coming to save you. No one will force you to rise. That choice is yours alone. Every day, you are either building yourself into a man of strength and presence or allowing yourself to fade into irrelevance. Stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Decide. Train your body, discipline your mind, take ownership of your time, and master your emotions. Become the man who is too strong to be ignored. The world belongs to those who refuse to be anything less than exceptional. Stand up. Take control. Be unshakable. If this message resonates with you, if you refuse to live a life of mediocrity, then take action. This is not just another video, it's a challenge. A challenge to step up, to demand more from yourself, and to forge the kind of life that commands respect. Hit like if you refuse to be weak. Subscribe to Ultimate Stoicism if you are ready to embrace discipline, strength, and unshakable presence. This is more than just a channel, it's a movement for men who refuse to be ordinary. Now, I want to hear from you. What is the biggest challenge you face as a man today? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. Let's build a community of men who push each other forward, not drag each other down. Your journey starts now, take the first step.